I'm Erica Rigling, Vice President of the Pacifica Historical Society and producer of this show about the Teen Photo Project at the Pacifica Library. With me today is Kim Day, Library Assistant at the library, and Jesse McKean-Scott, who is a student at Terra Nova High School, who was a part of the project. We're here to tell you about the wonderful grant that Kim won for some teens in Pacifica. Kim, what was the project all about?
This project is part of a statewide project run by the California Council for the Humanities, and the overall project was called How I See It My Place. It involved 21 libraries and was based on a book by Harvard professor John Stilgoe called Outside Lies Magic. The whole idea behind the project was to use photography and creative writing to document just the everyday environment that we see every day and maybe take for granted. It focused on a quarter-mile radius within the Sharp Park Library here in Pacifica, and it lasted for about 11 weeks, and we did a photography exhibit with the writing included at the end.
What were the names of the students that were in this project?
We had 9 teens all together, all different age ranges, and one of them was Jesse, who's here today. We also had Alicia Spalding, Ian Adams, Matt Dodge, Nicole Riley, Christina Schreiner, Marissa Benson, Ocean Ringet, and Kim Hansford.
Jesse, from the teen point of view, tell me about your experience with this project.
It was an amazing experience. I'd walk down streets that I never even knew existed in Pacifica and learned to really appreciate the small, subtle beauties in life that I'd never taken time to notice before.
One of the first concepts that the teens learned was the idea of palimpsest, succeeding layers upon the older ones in a way that you can still see the change, or the reuse, recycle, create new from old. Investigation of this concept will be seen particularly in the second session during the tour of Sharp Park. There has been extensive remodeling and reuse of buildings in Sharp Park during the past 100 years. While Kim and the teens were learning about their town and about photography and writing, I was videotaping their progress. The group met for 11 sessions plus the opening of the show. This video shows the various steps that were taken in this project.
So strange. Pictures on that. Can you use it? Actually, just use this one. 4 or so.
So I'll start talking about myself first, and then I guess you and how much experience with photography you have, if any at all, and it's fine if you don't have any. Here. This is the focus of the project area, but I think at some point I'm just going to have you take the cameras home, and if you want to, photograph things around where you live and your house or your daily lives. If you feel like doing that, that's something we can talk about later. Each of the libraries is going to get an online page where we can make our own exhibit and have that just be on their website. And we can do other stuff too. So what this project is really about is getting to know our place, and the everyday landscape is your place, the place where you live. And this is about just looking for and discovering a new meaning in it. It's called free writing, basically. And then that'll build slowly, hopefully, till you'll just write little narratives about pictures that mean something to you when you take them, and show your stuff at the end. So
it's really, really interesting there. You know, it's like it's either somebody slept over, could be a disaster scene with the water. I mean, it evokes all kinds of emotions. I think that's what photography's done for me over the years. Digital photography versus the old traditional photography is that it's a lot more environmentally friendly. When I used to develop black and white negatives and enlarging and everything, there was a lot of cost. And you got to put batteries in your camera, so if you flip your camera over to where the screen's opposite you, the rear viewing screen, down at the bottom there's a little switch on the right. If you pull it towards you, it should open up. The outside module. And on the inside you go to the negative. Here, those are 2 batteries. Also, you want to get your flash apart. which is your memory to store all your images. Your battery might be bad.
Are the batteries in the wrong way? I have tons of batteries here too, you guys.
Yeah, I think
if the
these are-
batteries run out. Shouldn't be. Put it all in.
Me too.
But all of you too.
So I'm just gonna point things out as we walk, and I guess we'll go down this way. So first, what we're gonna be paying attention to are just little things like,
You know when your hammer, how like you make it all like super. Okay, now
there's some more metal things.
Built in 1916, this redwood shingle house is an example of the smaller style of vacation cottages in the early Sharp Park period. Jerry Crow, our historian for the Pacifica Historical Society, is leading this tour.
Old house might be much redder. All those aerials or whatever the codes would be.
This blue stucco house was built in 1925 and is an example of the use of different materials in building the exterior of a vacation house. Next, we walk on to the hunting lodge, built in 1910 by Mr. Hannigan. This is a fine example of the shingle-sided craftsman style. The shingles may have come from an area around Kings Mountain where a number of redwood shingle operations existed at the time. This building burned in January of 2009.
Well, there are people in the church. Yeah, a well-built house will easily last 100 years if it's taken care of.
A glimpse of the castle, built in 1908 to provide an earthquake-resistant home for the McCluskey family. Mr. McCluskey was a lawyer representing the Ocean Shore Railroad and had the castle built to resemble the childhood home of his Scottish wife, Emily. These are twin houses built by the president of the Ocean Shore Land Company, which was a successor to the Ocean Shore Railroad Company. One has been modernized in some respects, and the other retains its original exterior appearance. From here, the students went on to take pictures of the Little Brown Church.
I wonder if the Little Brown Church was white at one time. Do you ever remember it being white? Maybe it was a primer.
Built in 1910 as the first of 3 North Coast Presbyterian houses of worship, it was the first formal church building along this part of the coast. After many years as a church for Presbyterians and other denominations, it was acquired by the city of Pacifica and converted into headquarters for the Pacifica Police Department. After 20 years in that role, the police moved to a new building, and the Pacifica Historical Society began restoring it for use as a museum and meeting place. I'm talking too fast. Behind the Little Brown Church and to the right is the building that was another example of Flimset, our current City Hall. Originally the third in a succession of San Pedro schools, the first was near the intersection of Hickey Boulevard and Skyline Boulevard. Jack London attended school there in 1883 to 84. He credits his teacher with awakening his interest in books. After a larger school was built, this building was used as a lodge hall and general meeting place, and after the incorporation of Pacifica, owner Ray Higgins donated the building as the City Hall in 1958. The house to the right here is the old house with the red roof, built in 1904. I understand this building will be demolished and replaced with a duplex. It's probably the oldest existing house in West Sharp Park. As we cross the bridge over Route 1, we see the old Anderson store on the corner. This building was built in 1904 by Matthias Anderson, a Norwegian immigrant, and used as a grocery store and gas station as well as the family home. Another example of reuse, recycle, it has been a succession of restaurants and is now the Salada Beef Coffee Shop. Mr. Anderson not only built it himself, but also installed all of the interior woodwork in McCluskey's Castle. Built in 1946 as a land sale office, it was used briefly as the first Pacifica City Hall. Then it was a phone answering service, and now it is a private residence. It has been more than doubled in size by subsequent remodeling. Standing on Palmetto Avenue, built in 1907, until recently this building was in continuous use as a grocery store. Now it is an antique shop called Vintage Cove. And standing on Palmetto Avenue, the group is talking about the road's first incarnation as County Road. It went from Colma to Pescadero, previous to the freeway being built in 1968. And further down the street is the old Salada Hotel, now an upholstery shop. Kim, what are the students doing here?
Here, one of our photography helpers, Gavin Raftery, is giving a Photoshop, just a basic introductory class, and giving some ideas of how the teens can edit their photos for the exhibit.
Nicole and Christina are talking about writing their article to put into the Pacifica Tribune.
You are obsessed with them, aren't you?
Okay, so that's fine. First.
Okay, but she is obsessed with them.
And then we're gonna type this. So, we just wrote an article to send to the Pacifica Tribune telling them about the project, just to get people aware of what's going on. And a few weeks after that, maybe the week before the program, we're gonna plan on sending another article telling everybody more details so they know about our exhibit.
I don't know, I just like the photography part the best because I've always wanted to take a photography class and I've never been able to take it at my school, so this finally gave me a chance to do that.
And I like walking around the same area like 5 weeks in a row. It really gives you the opportunity to look at things that you wouldn't have noticed before since you're spending so much time looking at it.
I never get
Let's second one. Okay, so
my parent, hard time because
in opening research and
Do you want to just look at the first paragraph and add these things?
yeah, but it's like
no, I think
we should list all our names in this article.
Oh yeah.
So assembled by blah, blah, blah.
at home, yes.
And if anyone needs help, like taking a photo or just kind of seeing.
But we can.
Did you say like the basketball?
And just remember that that one's not Should I just go?
Wait.
I'm finding my best pictures and my favorites, and I'm putting them onto a folder, and then we'll pick the best ones out of that. We'll narrow it down.
I like that between past.
Okay. I only put like 4 in from
That one's cool. Those are the cottages, right? That Jerry was showing.
I think so.
The old cottages.
Yeah, I have to like go back and see.
I know, people
Oh,
probably just weren't going.
Freaks out.
Oh, get a picture of that.
One time we were going to my grandma's house when I was.
I think that it's taught me to look at things
If that wasn't
in different ways and different perspectives. It's just been fun.
Everybody is just editing their photos, picking titles, narrowing down their choices for the exhibit, and then we're going to do some writing after. And all right.
There's like
can't
there's
tell the
barely
difference.
well, just like the more blue sky, I think.
Oh, wait, I don't know. Go back to the other.
It's like
Are they
so
different?
there's this one, just grayer. It's not really much different, but
I like that one. The other one looks a little bit like it does look fuzzy, like it has been manipulated, so you can kind of tell.
okay.
And I think when it's printed, it'll be more noticeable.
because when I was on other computers, like the colors of my pictures look.
About my different pieces of work for the exhibit, and I'm trying to name them all. So I'm working on one poem and then also some paragraphs just to describe my work and what it means to me and why it's important.
So what do you want to say about that one?
Well, I think it's really horrible. It was really interesting because you always hear about how people drop things down into the storm drains, but I never actually believed that it existed until we were walking along one day and I looked down at a storm drain and there was a bunch of paint dripping down into it. And so I took a picture of it and I want to write about it for the exhibit to bring attention to it to more people so that they realize the damage that it can do to our oceans.
I like this one because it's like the rust is shining off, like the sun is shining off the rust and complementing it, and it makes you wonder where the rust was, and only the person who took the picture could know what it was. A chair, which no one really suspects, so it's kind of mysterious. Yeah.
You call this one the gnome? Or that one was the gnome?
This one's the gnome.
That one's the gnome.
But it just was in a bush and it was so weird. So we had to take a picture of it. She said it reminded her.
Oh yeah. Hey, you like that one? When did you take that one? Did you edit that on Photoshop?
So tell me, what's the title of this one?
Right now it's called Unique, but that's not going to be the title. I just couldn't think of anything else. And I named it that because I was walking down the beach and I just found this lemon sitting there, which I thought was very unique because I've never seen an orange sitting on the sand before.
Kim, tell us about the matting and framing.
Well, here we have Nicole basically getting the frames ready for her photos. All the kids matted and framed their own pictures. And I tried to get some really easy frames to use. They were just frames where the front could just pop right out so they could mat their photographs and just kind of stick them right in the frames.
Yeah, but then,
And it was quite a production. It took actually a whole meeting to do, and some of the teens didn't even get finished that meeting. There was a lot of deciding which photos were going to go in, and once they were framed, they sometimes decided there were some better photos for the exhibit. So it was a fun process, putting the exhibit together.
How many photos did each student have?
Each student had 10 photos in the exhibit, so there were about 90 pictures altogether.
So 90 pictures had to be framed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Here's the night before the big day,
I'm gonna take this out of the wall.
and they're starting to hang the exhibit.
Oh, you can't. Or can you? I think mine fell off. No, it's right there. Oh, okay, never mind. I'll grab it. Yeah. You got a fun from the printer. Okay. Oh, look how pretty it is outside.
Can I stand on this?
Oh, you can stand on that.
Okay.
It's so
Wow.
Ian, how's this look?
Nice.
Yeah, okay.
The big day has arrived. The opening reception is November 15th at the Sharp Park Library.
Thank you. My name is Tom Ball, and I'm the manager of the two Pacifica Libraries. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the culminating event of a 10-week project between the library and a group of local teenagers called How I See It, My Place, a grant project from the California Council for the Humanities. Projects like this are important to the library in many ways, mainly giving us a working relationship with a demographic group that we sometimes have a hard time attracting, teen. Teens bring a special and rejuvenating energy to the library that we love to have around. And a project like this gives us a chance to show them all the things that a library has to offer that are relevant and helpful to their lives. Libraries are at the heart of their communities in that they are what I like to call the free public university of lifelong learning. We interact with everyone in the community from the time that they're born throughout a lifetime. And having all the sectors of a community taking advantage of the many services and resources that we offer benefits all of us by helping to create an informed and educated citizenry that is capable of solving the complex problems that all communities face. I have been so impressed by the vision and artistry that I've seen progressing over the past 10 weeks, and I'm sure that you will be as well. They have displayed an uncanny ability to notice and document that which we so often ignore or pass over or take for granted. In addition, they have articulated so well through their writing what these images have meant to them and the emotions that they've evoked. Now I'd like to introduce Kim Day, who wrote the successful grant application that awarded us this project and who has been coordinating it so ably. My most hearty congratulations to Kim and the team group for a fantastic job. Well done. Yep.
Thank you, Tom. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for coming today. I'm proud to be able to stand here and present all the hard work these teens have done over the past 11 weeks. I'd like to start first with a little background of the project. This was part of a statewide program of the California Council for the Humanities. 21 libraries were involved, with about 300 teens participating statewide. The overall project is called How I See It, My Place, and the basic idea was to get youth to explore their neighborhoods using digital cameras and, later, creative writing. The project is based on the book Outside Lies Magic, written by Professor John Stilgoe.
Tonight, our pictures start on the display in the back, and they continue upstairs in the exhibit area. There's 3 walls that are covered in
Jesse, how did the teens like the project?
We all loved the project. I was friends with a bunch of the people in the group beforehand, and we would always look forward to going to classes on Friday, and I became friends with the other people who I hadn't known before, and it was really fun. We all loved it.
And Kim, what are you planning next?
Well, we have an ongoing teen advisory group at the library. A coworker, Stephanie Conrad, and I have just taken that over. So we're going to have lots of good projects and programs coming up that are mostly planned by teens themselves. So
we're looking forward to see what photography the teens do next and what your next projects will be. Thank you both so much for working with me to present this program on Channel 26.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's the slideshow. There's the slideshow. I left out one sentence.